Good morning. Marsh and I are in Bend, Oregon. We've come out here to see our son Paul and his wife Krista and our grandchildren Olivia and Cameron. Because of the pandemic, we haven't seen them since Christmas of 2019. It's been a long time, and so this is a great celebration, and I wanted to do some coffee with Bob's here in Bend. So we're going to do some of these now for the next week and a half or so. You know, when we first got here, we had never been out here to Oregon. We'd been to Portland back in 2016 for General Conference, but we never got to see out the countryside. So when we started driving towards Bend, we headed up through a national forest, and there was Mount Hood. Coming around the corner, it was so beautiful. We loved the drive. We got out here to Bend, and we had a great time. The next day, Paul had to work, and the kids were still in school, and so Krista took us snowshoeing out to Mount Bachelor. What a beautiful place. There's downhill skiing, there's cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, and we headed out through the forest, and it really was one of those spiritual kind of times when you get out there in the midst of nature, beautiful, huge old trees, and you're in the midst of the snow. We went to a practice for Cameron. It was only his second practice since he's been out here now, and Ben, again, because of pandemic, well, he got to have his baseball practice, and we were there, and let me tell you, it was cold, but he was running hard and did so great. Another night, we went out to a steakhouse to go out and celebrate Marcia's 40th birthday, or something like that. But we went out. We had a grand time. The meal was wonderful. Paul and Chris treated us truly a wonderful, wonderful night. Another day, we went out to Smith Rock. What a beautiful place. It has this deep canyon with a river running through it, and we hiked all the way down to the river. It was great exercise. And when we got back to the car, I was kind of sucking a little bit of air when we finally got in the car to head home. But as we were starting to drive along, suddenly we wound up seeing a sign that was pointing to a winery, and the name of the winery was Faith, Hope, and Charity. Now, how can you pass up a winery like that? We drove out to the winery, and it had a beautiful setting. We went into their hospitality area, and there we had a pizza for lunch. And as we were having our lunch, we then had the waitress was taking care of us, and I said, so I got to ask, as a Methodist minister, how did you come up with the name Faith, Hope, and Charity? And she said, well, it's because of the three sisters. The three sisters. Yes, you can see the Cascade Mountain Range is a mountain range right to the west, the last mountain range that separates you from the coast. And in that mountain range, there are these three really tall mountains, 10,000 feet high, each of them, and they're known as the Three Sisters. And they go by the name Faith, Hope, and Charity. I couldn't help but think about all these pioneers who had made their way west. They had their dreams, a new life, a place they were going, and now they were getting close. That's one of the ways that you get through the mountain range to the coast. And how had they made it? With faith that God would sustain them and lead them on. It continued to give them hope, even in the most difficult parts of their journey. And it was because of the love that they had for God and each other, they'd been able to make it, and they would achieve their goal, their dreams. Having just come through a pandemic, we are all reminded that the way we make it through the most difficult times is by continuing to have faith. We know that means to trust in God's constant love of us, his children. And that's what gives us hope, even when we are having to live through dark times and separation and isolation. We have hope. And it's because of the love that we share with our family and our friends. We know what's important. And that's why we're in Bend today, getting to be with our family. We're here to be sharing with our family. And today, it's not just coffee with Bob, it's coffee with CB. I hope you have a great day.